What's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday. I'm back. I think I skipped one Wednesday. I think Courtney took it last week, and that was super awesome. Really interesting on the clean foods thing, and it's really got me thinking. So I kind of mentioned if you guys are down for a challenge, we can throw one together and see what happens, but you got to let me know. So, yeah, I'm back this Wednesday. I want to try and get our coaches more and more involved so that you've got someone else's perspective, right? Like, that's the beauty of the coaches that we have and how we go about things, how our stories worked, is that everybody has a different way that they did it. And that's the thing that we try to do even in our coaching, is not just what worked for me, but what's going to work for you. It's really important that it's, you can't just make a cookie cutter, this works for everyone, do it this way, because it's just not realistic, right? So you have families and jobs and different taste buds and everything. So anyways, I love the variety of the coaching staff that we have, the perspectives that we have, and I'm going to try and to get them more involved. It might not always be on Wednesday. Doesn't always work for everyone, right? But works for me. So here I am. A couple other updates. I saw Mindy, thanks for asking about the t-shirts. I'm just the designer, the banker, the printer, the shipper, the everything, and I figured I'll get to it when I get to it. But trust me, if you pre-ordered a t-shirt, it's safe. Of course I ordered extras because I know some of you late bloomers like to come along, so I'll have a couple more. But I kind of want to see what they look like, and I'll put them up. I'm excited about it. It always takes longer than I think. I'm like, hey, here's the design, go, but it doesn't really work that way. So anywho, all right, so Molly put in some great questions. You guys know that I am always here to answer anyone's questions. So she does a great job, kind of getting the ball rolling. But if you have something during this live or you have something afterward, definitely drop it in this thread below, because the more that we can talk about things that trip you up, the more that we can find ways to do a little bit better, right? And that's all we're trying to do. And know that one of the things with coaching too, it worked in my softball days, it worked in CrossFit coaching, it works all the time, is that what clicks for you might need to be said a different way. So ask a question, because you might be like, Chelsea, I don't really understand that. I'm like, oh, let me try it this way. So ask about anything that you want to hear. So again, Molly asked some great questions. We're just going to get into those, and then who knows where my tangent will go from there. So she asked about my personal go-to fats. Again, this is something that is unique to me, something that I do, but we can definitely talk about other items if you guys want to drop some of yours below. But I would definitely say my top go-tos are butter, regular old butter. I actually have this really cool butter dish that I leave out. I have a video of it. It's kind of neat. By keeping it at room temperature, I use a lot less. So when you have to actually cut through something, cut through a butter stick that comes out of the fridge, you end up doing a little bit more because it's harder to cut, and what you cut is what you decide you want to fuss with, and you move on. So I leave it at room temperature, and I can use a lot less. So I probably use 2 grams of butter in almost anything that I do, because most of the time I have onion in it, so I'm browning my onion, or garlic, both of those. But then some of the other go-to fats, I always have toasted sesame seed oil, extra virgin olive oil. Both of those go into almost everything that we make. I usually have, they're called avocado cups, so they're not avocados and they're not guacamole, they're unflavored. I would do flavored if they were at Sam's, but Sam Shopper. So I have those. They're 57 grams to a serving, which I think is 9 grams of fat. So sometimes I'll, only use half of it and then stick it in Chuck's, even though he doesn't want it, but I try to get rid of it for myself. Or, I just kind of play with the fats there. I use a ton of cheese. We always have feta and Provel we bring back from St. Louis. We have pecorino, I think is what it's called. I actually don't have any Parmesan. We use it as Parmesan for us. But I just kind of read through some of the macros and see what the best ones are. Honestly, Velveeta Shreds has awesome cheese. It's a totally different texture, but I haven't met a cheese I don't like. So it's a little bit lower. You could do 2%. I think that fat-free cheese is a waste of time because it might as well be a rubber balloon, Disgusting. I need to let Brindle in. You guys are going to get a little... Come on, Brindle. You guys are going to get a little preview of our garage as I step in, but it's too hot for her. Hold on. Come on, Bryn. Come on. Bye-bye. Okay. Tried to let her sit with me outside, but that's not going to work. So anyways, other go-to fats. So the sesame oils and things like that are pretty cool because like I told you guys before, I like to mix and match flavors. So immediately when you put toasted sesame oil in something, it's so freaking good for like an Asian dish. Also at my sister-in-law's house, shout out Nicole, she had a chili oil that was killer. So I'm going to get in on that. But basically I try to add fats to things. So I have very low fat beef and chicken and tuna and things like that so that I can control the amount of fat and not have to work around it. So versus using something like if you were to eat salmon is already pretty high in fat content. And so then using something to cook it in is just kind of doubling down. So instead I use a leaner meat and add fat to it so that I can control how much is in it. Otherwise, even with beef, you can use the beef fat to cook in. So maybe you brown your meat first and then kind of scoot it to the side and use the fat that has dripped off to then cook your onion and garlic and things like that. Great way to do it. The macros that are in that pan on beef are yours, so use them. Isn't honestly the same with bacon, which is ironic. Most of your bacon, if you read it, is going to say that it's this much fried, this many grams is your serving size fried, so it actually means take it out of the oil. So bummer, right? But yeah, those are my go-tos. Basically sticking with I guess I use peanut butter too. So like nut butters, nut oils. I will use zero cooking sprays, but honestly, if I can keep butter and things like that down to a healthy amount, not really worried about it. And then keeping items lean so that I can add something to it. So again, if I were to use a heavier beef, maybe I can't have as much cheese versus I can add cheese if I use a leaner meat. So that's the way that I go about it. If you guys have other ideas, definitely let me know. I know like my parents eat Ready Whip. So that's a fat content, right? It only has like 1 fat per serving, but that's a great way to do it. They also have these really cool sprayers that each spray is a gram. So that makes it super easy to do. Something to think about there with some kitchen tools. Let me know if you guys have anything like that. But yeah, keep it where you can control it versus something else. It could be the same with look at dressing as a fat. So if you want to have a salad, your fat is going to be that. I keep random things keep pop up. Eggs is a fat for me. Yeah, cool. Good stuff there. Not too big of a nut person because I think that you can't have as many as I want once you actually look at a serving size. So I just kind of stay away from them. And then I'll get into the mindset stuff last for those of you who like it, but vacation success. So super important right now, right? Heating up, feeling good, wanting to be outside, and how to set yourself up for success on vacation. And the biggest thing that I try to talk to my clients about is honestly having a plan. So going in and knowing what obstacles you're going to face. You know, you're maybe going to want to drink, you want to go out for ice cream, you're going to want to indulge a little bit more, right? Because you're wanting a break from what you do on a daily basis, which is great. The key there is to be mindful about the amounts and that you do have a goal and that you do eat differently, look at food differently. So versus just throwing everything to the wind and being like, I'm going to throw everything out there. And then you come back miserable and upset about it. It's like, okay, I'm going to start off having a lighter, leaner morning. So I'm going to have lean protein, some egg whites, some veggies, maybe even have a later breakfast because you're not that worried about it. Getting in 30 minutes of movement so that you kind of check that box and you get your body moving for the day. And then honestly, saving carbs and fats for the things that you don't normally have. So that could be where you work in drinking or you work in desserts, one or the other. Notice I said or, so that you eat lean enough that those things that are unusual fit a little bit easier. So it's not going out and being like, I'm going to get fried chicken and fries and dessert because I never do stuff like this. Is that really how we want to go about it? Is that success on vacation for you is throwing your nutrition goals out the door, or being excited that you've learned how to balance them along the way, right? So looking at it and saying, I can have these things because they are special to this, and I'm going to balance it by doing something else. I know for me personally, I do love salads, and the reason that I can eat salads and a lot of vegetables is because to me a meal can be heavy meat and vegetables because I want to save all the snacks and fun stuff for other things, the Danish at breakfast or the dessert later or that random ice cream trip, something like that. So it's not a have to have everything because it's never going to come around again, and looking at it as these are the things that I want, and so this is how I can work them in. This is how I can be a little bit more mindful about letting myself have things that are not typical because it's vacation, because I'm in an area where I don't get them normally, and also being goal oriented because you know more than you used to. You look at food differently and going about it that way. So having a plan, knowing what things you want to have or that are outside, and then thinking through how to make that happen. Then a couple other really cool tips. I had one nude, awesome, that actually meal prepped her food for when she got home. So when she got home, she didn't have a reason to continue that avalanche, to go down the wrong path because she was tired. You need a vacation from vacation. You're trying to get back in the swing of things. It was already done and out there. Some people bring their snacks with them. I also really try to harp in understanding that one bad decision, one night that went awry doesn't mean that you just chalk up the whole week to something bad, right? Every decision made, the next decision is a new start. It doesn't have to keep compounding onto each other. So looking at what success means for you on a vacation, having a plan for it, and then understanding if not all things go to plan, that it doesn't have to be a full waste throughout the weekend. Because we've talked about this before, but not recently, honestly, that if willpower is a muscle, it only has so many reps in it, right? So you're only going to pass up something on the first day because you're feeling good in your bikini, and then a couple days later you're like, oh man, whatever, I'm hot, I want it, I'm going to throw it all in there. So create little systems for yourself about, meals are just going to be protein and veggie focused, and I'm going to save fats and carbs for something else, is an easy, very simple way to broaden, not be so strict and try to be so on it, and just be realistic and intentional about what you're eating. Okay, pretty cool. So then, she asked about some mindset tips. I'm getting more mindset tips about how to find your why when you're new. So, you're new and you're motivated and you're excited and you want to lose weight, and how do you truly find the why? And honestly, that's through a lot of self-talk and in internal dialogue. Okay, so you want to lose weight, and Dr. Lindsay talked about this with your 7 layers of why. Okay, why do I want to lose weight? Because I would look better in my bathing suit. Okay, so why do you want to look better in your bathing suit? Because you want to feel confident when you're out there. Why do you want to feel confident? Because I don't have as much fun on the beach because I'm worried about what I look like and not, connecting with my family. So looking through those layers of why, because the very high level reason probably isn't the deeper reason that goes into it. And when you find that one, that's the one that can keep you pushing forward. So talk to yourself, walk through that exercise of 7 reasons of why, 7 layers of why, and really try to dig down into what you're really getting into, and then make a plan of action from there. And remember that it is so big to remember why you started, right? So you get caught up in, the scale didn't move and this happened this weekend and whatever, and it's like, hold on a minute, why did I even start this race? Because I wanted to run a first marathon and be excited about it. So why am I here? Why am I putting in this energy? And if you can get back to that true reason of why, maybe you can keep yourself moving forward. So great question, great thing to look for. But it's not so cut and dry, right? It's pretty intense in what you're doing. And then adapting to changing goals. That is a great one. So something that, all of us battle with. So, it's why coaches need coaches. It's why we talk to each other about things. It's why I love staying a part of this group, because it keeps me accountable and me growing and me constantly looking for my own reason why. But basically, once you've achieved something, or maybe you haven't, maybe you tried something and it didn't really work, how do you change that goal? So I wanted to lose 15 pounds, but it's the way that I'm going about it isn't really working for me. So what is my next goal? Okay, so maybe I need to taper it back. Maybe I need to say, I just want more food awareness. I want to be more aware of what's in my food. Or I've been trying to go to this gym and it's just not working for me. Okay, so if the gym's not working for me, it's not diet and exercise that isn't working. It's just maybe this current routine. Maybe I'm letting, my hours are too late and I'm working too late and I can't make it to the gym like I normally would. Okay, so what can I do? I can find a different gym. I can find a different routine. I can do some things at home. Looking at what can I do to get where I need to go, and adapting to new ideas. So maybe it was, again, to lose weight at the beginning, but now it's to push performance and change that. And not only tying back into the other one, remembering your why of why you started, but then being very aware of what your current why is, So I've been at this since I think it was 18. Why do I always forget the date? I don't know. But 2018, and now in 2021, still hovering in like the lightest that I've ever been. I started in like 155. I'm about 125 hovering. I bounce up and down, which I talk to my clients about every couple days. And my success anymore isn't defined by the scale losing. It's by maintaining my habits and maintaining a goal and looking at that. But I've constantly got to look at, what is my current goal? When I was first set on losing that initial weight, I was just in it, right? I gave up family dinners and I gave up going out and I made sure I worked out and all those things. But when that stopped, I had to change what my goal was. It was no longer to lose weight, it was to maintain it. And how do I do that? Do I need to change my macros? Does my workout need to change? Do I need to continue doing things that I was doing? Do I need to open up my expectations of effort and what I expect to see on the scale every day? And how do I kind of navigate that whole thing? So it doesn't mean that you're changing goals, doesn't mean that you had what you started. You might just have to approach it differently. At first it was very easy for me to give up on social outings and things like that, because I had something I wanted to do. It was working. I was on it. And now my goal is to be able to go into those social settings and have that experience without food being something that takes away from it, that I can go in with a different plan and a different expectation of what to do and how to handle myself, and learning it from a different perspective. So I think this is where ongoing coaching isn't the worst thing, or touching base or asking questions in here, because your goals aren't always the same, and being able to change the mindset on expectations and effort is a way to look at your new goals, your changing goals, and then finding a way to make them happen. It doesn't mean that they have to, never means that you should stop having goals or going after something or trying to be specific, but maybe changing how you go about it and looking from a different perspective and understanding what worked for you might not work anymore. And that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that you're in a different place and you have to change that. So, think about it as even athletes moving up. What worked for you in T-ball doesn't work in high school, doesn't work in the pros, doesn't work, you make the Olympic team, and the way that you used to approach a shot isn't the same thing anymore because the landscape is different. So you just have to change. It doesn't mean you change who you are. It doesn't mean you change your goals. It means that you have to possibly change the way you look at it and the way you go about it. So for any of you guys that have been at this for a while and you're wondering, what your next thing is or what you're looking for, might be time to see where you are and what you truly want, and then go from there, versus using your old goal and how it was to get there as something that you do now, because times have changed, things have changed. It might be time to reevaluate. But absolutely awesome questions. Molly always hits it hard, and she's got some really cool things coming up. So I know I'm always pushing how great Molly is with these questions and hard-hitting things, but I think I just can't say too much yet. But you're going to be excited about what's coming up. So if you watch this long, hopefully that kind of whets your appetite a little bit. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I want questions like this. I want things that I can give you tactical responses to, like log this, do this, count this. This is how you go about whatever. So ask away if you have questions. If something in here didn't make sense, I'm always open to let you know more. If you're ready to be a Nude Nation client, our coaches are ready and willing to take you on. So whether it's PCOS, pregnancy, keto, shift workers, you're a police officer, you're a stay-at-home mom, you're a new mom, you're a mom that the kids have flown the coop and you're ready to go, you're a dad that's watching his wife kill it and it's time for you to do it for yourself, let's get you hooked up. We have a coach for you. I appreciate everything. We turned 2 yesterday, guys. We're doing it. So freaking cool. You guys have a good rest of your Wednesday. See ya.